What's going on? How are you doing today? How you guys doing today? So, do you like to eat? And is it something, that's a question that everybody would say yes to, you would know, because all of us like to eat something. And majority of the time we like to eat, some of us like to eat 2 times per day, 3 times or more per day. But today we're gonna take a look at an interesting decision that so many people make, and many people that you already know, some of the basically stars, movie stars, who are already doing this method for many reasons that they are doing using this method of feeding their bodies. Maybe it might not be for you, but maybe something that you could consider at one point in your life. So I hope you guys are doing well. The moment that you step in the stream, like up, subscribe. Let's get started. So the
Five.
first, again, what's a show about food, about eating or meals without starting it right with different meal or different meal courses?
Course meal under 1,200 pesos. Let's go. This is perfect if you are celebrating an occasion. You will be welcomed with this elegant table setting. Para
The sound in this video is sort of low. It's kind of built in, so there's nothing I can do about it, but just bear with me.
ka talagang nasa hotel at fine dining. As a start, you can choose between cream of pumpkin soup and vegetable salad. Then if you are ready for your appetizer, you can have this baked cheese oyster or this fried barbecue breaded shrimp dipped in marinara sauce. Then they will serve this black ink squid seafood pasta. And as for the mains, you can choose between salmon in hollandaise sauce or this chimichurri black angus in Cajun fries. And as for the dessert, this moist and super rich chocolate cake.
All right, this was a 5 course meal. It's it looks very appealing. I always say it's very much appealing, but the fact of the matter is, the question is, how many time is most ideal for us in terms of keeping us healthy, in terms of having us getting the energy that we need, and not to restrict being productive and doing the things that we all want to do, or the activities that we have to do in our lives. So we've taken a look of a 5 course meal. But wait, there's more. There's 5 course meals, and there's even more. Basically,
Course 7-hour long meal. And
I don't know if I would have basically the endurance to actually sit it down, or maybe not just sitting down, but basically to be able to like eat for 7 hours straight. I do understand, like, there are some things that the people are doing, like, for example, they probably are having activities between the meals, or when people are after a certain period of time, people will have a pause to basically regain themselves. But 7 hours of eating, is that something that you will do? There are people who are foodies out there that who would be like, this would be their heaven, but not for all of us, of course. But yeah, it's not for me. It's not for me, for sure.
I want you to guess how much it costs. It's also one of the weirdest meals I've ever had. You get rabbit ear drinks, caged chicken feet, ants inside of amber, and whatever the hell this is.
As you've noticed, the sound of this video is way better.
Have you ever danced during a meal, and how many of these courses would you eat? This is space bread, this is an omelet, these are lungs, and this is
lungs,
a banana. During this meal, you have some powerful dishes about child labor, blood donation, sustainability, and then you have some fun dishes like this Squid Game bread, a replica of the chef's tongue that you French kiss, an eyeball, and a blood drop dessert with visuals to match. It's bizarre, it's creative, and it's my new favorite restaurant of all time. This is Alchemist in
Wow. All right. So
Copenhagen. It costs
$600 for spending 7 hours of your day to eat. It's a nice experience, to be honest. It's a nice experience. Some people, again, people who are foodies would I've definitely go for it, but it's not for everybody. But it's something, I think there are certain things you should experience one time in your life to know how it is, and probably that could be it for you if that's something that you're inclined to. But still, the question still remains: what is the ideal amount of time that we should eat for optimal health and to stay fit? Because we do know one thing is for sure: the older we get, the more our body stores fat, and a lot of the time we have to put in more time or more I wouldn't say more effort. Well, it could be, because at the end of the day, we are not as young as we used to be from yesterday, for example. Today and versus yesterday, you are, 1 day older. That happens to all of us. But the fact of the matter is, eating is something that we all do, and it is something that we all have in common. And we were gonna take a look at the history. Is 3 meal a day, or 5 meal, or even more than that meals per day, is something that's new in the industrial era, or was it always there? Basically, did people way back in the days used to eat 3 meals per day, and how have eating 3 meals per day or more has affected our lifestyle? Perhaps it's in the good or the bad, but we're gonna find out soon enough. And this
Do you know that
was
the average
okay. So I don't know if that's true for you, because every family have a different method of eating, or variation, or the amount that food that they eat. But this guy is saying
American eats 17 to 23 times per day?
17 to 23 times per day, the average American eat. I mean, seriously. I mean, it's not too hard to believe, because one thing is for sure is that Americans are one of the biggest people in terms of body fat in the world. So that's not really hard to believe. But the fact of the matter is it really good for them? I mean, we can know already at the end of the day is that you would rather to be, if you would have to choose between the two, being fit or, just being fat, which one would you choose? If you could choose, if you had to choose one.
17 to 23 times per day. Think about it. The handful of almonds, the sip of the kombucha, the protein shake, those are healthy examples, but 17 to 23 times per day, they're raising glucose and insulin and starting the digestive process, destroying and overwhelming the gut. When you fast, you give the gut a break.
That's true, because when you fast, you give the guts of your stomach, your entire digestive system a break. Because the fact of the matter is, a lot of the time, the moment that people waking up, or the moment that they wake up, they feel like they need to eat something in order to be okay, in order to be able to start their day. But did you know, in the morning is the best time for you to not eat anything? I do understand when it comes to a child, babies, or children, they don't have as control, or they wouldn't try to put effort to control their meals or control the variation of how much they eat per day. But the fact of the matter is, if you go in a caloric restriction, especially in the morning time, it will help your body to naturally remove the excess fat that your body accumulate over time. That's something that we cannot, the process that the body naturally do over time. So it's basically fat burning, and it enhances oxidation and metabolism flexibility, because when you are always filling your stomach, you go around, around life or throughout your day with always being full. It's like people think that should be the normal, to be always full in order to, to enjoy life. Because one thing is for sure, some people look at food as enjoyment. And some people look at healthy food as a diet, or something that is not enjoyable or pleasant to do. But the fact of the matter is, thinking like this is surely gonna lead you to unfavorable situation that you're gonna fall into, meaning you will gain extra body fat. And I don't think, again, there are some people who can live like that. There are some people who don't really care about that they're getting extra body fat. But the fact of the matter is, when this happens, it's your body that is suffering. It's like, again, I always say this, having excess body fat is choosing to live life in the most difficult or in hard mode. Some people might find that to be okay, but for me, life is already hard as it is already. We have, as adults, we have many activities, many responsibilities to handle. And one thing is for sure is that the moment that we add eating, the amount of meals you eat or what you consume is something that is totally within your control. Some people can say it's emotional or whatever, and all of that. All of it begins whatever your excuse or your reason is for eating a lot of different meals per day, like more than 3 course meal per day, or yeah, eating things that you need that you know is not going to be beneficial to you. It's just basically an emotional eating in a way. A lot of the time some people say, okay, I don't have the money to get healthy food, but all of that can be solved with just probably eating 1 meal per day or minimum 2 meals per day. I would say for me, for example, I eat minimum 2 meals per day. But when it comes to snacking, sometimes I do snack, but it's not like yeah, but most people do think that okay, it's just snacks that are not pleasant. For me, the snacks, okay, let me see. For breakfast, I usually eat some almond and have something before working out. Yeah, all right, Deb. Yeah, for me, almond, yeah, it's really good. But the fact of the matter is, if you want to stay lean, for me, one thing is for sure, I'm always lean. Always. The reason why, and you're going to see it also, some of the people that you know, that we all probably know, superstars, famous people, you're going to see how they always stay lean. And the reason why minimum eating 2 meals per day is going to help your body to stay fit all throughout. So eating almond, yeah, that's really good. You get almond is very packed in nutrients, very good depth. Before your workout, sometimes before my workout, when I'm working out in the morning, I do it on an empty stomach, and that gives me the opportunity to have just natural energy. But if you do eat almond, that's also okay. But the fact of the matter is that when you eat the almond, or when you eat something, especially if you if you train in early in the morning, but if you train in during the daytime or in the afternoon, you probably have to eat something, or you would probably have something in your stomach. But the fact of the matter is, when you do have something in your stomach, it makes training even much more tedious or harder. And the fact of the matter is also that your stomach is also pulling all the blood from other areas of your body towards the stomach area for digestion. But when you're training on an empty stomach or fasting, if you can, because not everybody can do this because of how their days are scheduled. But if you can, the fact of the matter is, when you're training, then the body part that you're focusing your training on, let's say for example, it's leg day, you're training legs, all the energy, all the blood, all nutrients gonna be flowing to your legs rather than your other areas that you don't really to be more effective, basically more efficient and effective. But if you must eat something, yeah, definitely go for it. And so nice to have you there. Like up, subscribe. I know you subbed already, Deb. Now we're gonna take a look at the main event. We're gonna take a look at someone who eats 1 meal per day for a long period of time. For me, that's something I would like to do, but not now. Normally now I eat 2 meals per day. Maybe in my 50s, I will do it. But the fact of the matter is, eating 1 meal per day could also mean that you're not getting enough micronutrients. So this is why for me, I would think that I would probably have one big meal per day, and the second meal would be just focus on micronutrients and snacks, if you will. So let's get to see this. And this guy, he's actually
Meet Dr. Noon S. Amin Ra. He only eats one vegan meal a day. That's right, he only eats 1 hour a day, proving if you eat healthy, you will not lose muscle or lack energy. He even set a world record in deadlifting.
Okay, let's see how much did he deadlift. 305 kilos. And 305 kilos, that's a lot. 672 pounds. All right, that's a lot. So Deb, what is your fitness goal? Why do you your workout, what's your general goal for working out? I understand to stay fit, but what are the other things, if you do have other reason for working out? Can you specify, can you share?
But his goal is not bodybuilding or strength. It's anti-aging, longevity, and the high.
anti-aging, longevity, and what else?
Highest quality of health and life. We're not
Increased quality of health and life.
telling people to eat only one meal a day, but we are here to show you what's possible with intermittent fasting and that we do not have to eat animal products in order to thrive. Only a handful of people on this planet have the determination to live this way, but it's amazing what happens when we do. Mankind is not supposed to have the health problems it does, and what we call aging is not normal. Let the wise words of this master teach, enlighten, and inspire you.
Hi, thanks for being here today.
It is my pleasure.
So, you only eat once a day.
That is so.
I saw a video of you on the internet where you were a deadlifting champion.
That is so. I'm presently the world deadlift champion,
Okay, I understand. To stay fit, that's really good.
drug-free world deadlift champion in my particular class. I hold several world, national, regional records.
Again, he's a vegan. You know, he's a vegan. So it doesn't mean that you have to eat or be eating one meal a day and transform your diet into a veganism. But what it does mean is that one solid meal is, it's not gonna basically end you, because a lot of people think that, okay, it's gonna be the worst case scenario is that if they don't eat, they start to think of the worst case scenario, that they're not gonna have the energy and all of all the negative reasons that they can connect to not eating 3 meals minimum per day. But the fact of the matter is, all of that has been, and basically, and the industrial era, when the industrial era step in, this is when also our meal, the amount of food that we eat, also changed. Because as you can imagine, the industrial era, what happened is new machines, new technologies, and new ways of farming or harvesting meals or food has been created. So now we still at this point are living in the era of abundance. And during the era of abundance, we have gluttony, or basically, overindulging ourselves. But the fact of the matter is, we don't need to always be doing that. And eating 1 meal per day, and another suggestion that I have, eating 1 meal per day you don't have to be an everyday thing. It could mean that you choose 1 day per week that you eat 1 meal per day, or it could be basically, think of it as a health strategy. Again, this is for longevity and so many other reasons that we're gonna discover as this show go along. But it's not about, again, doing it just like him. This is his story, but let's see what we can take from it. Let's see what we can apply to our lives from it.
Cyclic fasting, for instance, is known to potently promote growth hormone release. So throughout the duration of a daily fast, your growth hormone concentration tends to increase. If you combine that with resistance exercise in the evening, as you probably know, that increases testosterone production.
And not only testosterone production, but also when it comes to the ladies, it also improves your hormonal balance.
When you sleep, that increases growth hormone production, IGF production. So we're talking about anabolic hormones that essentially promote the preservation of muscle tissue. So a regimen which entails daily cyclic fasting, evening resistance training, all of these things combine to enhance the preservation and also augmentation of muscle tissue.
So you're saying somebody who's in their 30s, 40s, and 50s can actually gain muscle?
If it is regimented, if it combines these factors,
Right.
that is, increased growth hormone secretion as a consequence of protracted fasting.
Now, have you noticed that working out late in the day is more beneficial than working out earlier in the day? Or does it matter?
It does matter, and that is because essentially you want to enhance autophagy throughout the day. You want to be catabolizing your proteins, you want to be catabolizing stored sugar and stored body fat. But in the evening, you actually want to suppress autophagy in order to promote that preservation of muscle tissue. So it is resistance training that stimulates your skeletal muscle, that provides those metabolic factors that promote muscle retention. So yes, evening is best to do resistance exercise.
This is actually
Yes, evening is best, but again, that might not be for all of us because we have different schedule, might be at work, and you cannot basically work out in the evening. And one thing is for sure is that the reason why during the evening, and also if you're gonna be drinking, a lot of the time evening drinking in the evening is better because during the evening around this time, that's when your body temperature is at the highest, you know, and that's when also your muscle are basically ready. But again, that cannot be for everyone because our lifestyle are different. And one thing I want to mention is also, we do know, you should know, if you didn't know, is that as time goes by, not only that our body is accumulating excess fat because our metabolism are slowing down, but the fact of the matter is through fasting, improve insulin sensitivity, fasting lower insulin levels and reduce your risk of diabetes. And another thing as well is that as time goes by, your muscle density become decreasing, and also your bone density because again, our body goes through a phase of just inclining and declining. And you know, they say after 25 your body starts to decline, but anyways, that's not a general, that's a rule of thumb, but that's not a general rule for everybody. But let's see, I'm gonna continue and then
good advice for even women that are older, postmenopausal women who is working out your
I think he's gonna mention how many calories you eat in that one meal. I think he's gonna mention that.
muscles is part of what keeps you young.
Indeed, indeed.
You got to do weight training. Even if you're an old lady, you got to work otherwise your bones go weak, everything starts falling apart. It's important. What you're saying is it helps keep you young. This isn't a vanity thing. It's part of what needs to happen in your life.
Indeed, indeed. And sarcopenia.
Yeah, because this is indeed true. Because some people, what he's saying is that some people think it's just vanity. Some people think, okay, you go to the gym because you want to show off, because you want to feel like you're better than somebody else, and or whatever reason, you know, they want to give to basically excuse themselves from basically try to make you feel bad or try to make you feel a type of way that is not so positive, and try to shield themselves, give themselves an excuse for being lazy. But the fact of the matter is, it's not just about the looks. It's not just about what you got to tell to these people is this.
Shut your bitch
Really?
ass up.
I mean, you probably cannot say it like that, but some version of this. But the fact of the matter is not just about, you know, looking good because or feeling good. The fact of the matter is, think about it. Who wouldn't want to look good or feel good? And the thing is also is that is as you go along, just like our body get weaker. So doing weight training and changing your diet as well to basically perhaps 1 meal per day or 2 meals per day, that helps the body that helps you to fight the aging process, because that's the main idea, right? Not only that you want to enjoy your life, you want to do different activities, you want to go after your goals, but you also want to have your security in your body and your physique, that you can prolong it as much as you can, or be able to engage in activities that you love to do with the people that you love to do them with for a longer period of time. Because a lot of the time people tend to, let's say, let me see what you just said. I'll talk about that a little bit later.
It is age-related muscle wasting, muscle loss is a major catalyst for premature mortality, especially in women.
Right? They say that the older you get, the more you lose muscle, the more you lose your hormones, the more, you know, you start slowly basically falling apart. What you're saying is if you keep working out, that doesn't necessarily have to be the case.
Yes, that is quite so. You can definitely avert many of those changes and slow down that process.
So you found that you only have to sleep half as much as the average person.
Yes, that was one of the first things that I observed. I was able to do without as much sleep as I had previously, and I was able to recuperate from exertion far more rapidly than I had been in the past. I was simply interested intellectually in the pursuit of anti-aging studies, anti-senescence studies.
And for me, this is also one of my goal of my channel, anti-aging processes, because again, who wouldn't want to live as long as we can and be as fit as you can? I think Deb just said I gym with some ladies in their 70s and 80s that are in great shape. This is really great. You know, this is awesome. This is the idea. This is the main goal of my channel, because it's not just about, you know, again, it's thinking long term. It's not just about, you know, making money, the usual. It's not about just training. It's, you know, that when you get to these ages, 70s, 80s, that you are still able to move, you are still able to, you know, to feel great, to be in great shape. That's really the greatest wealth that you can have, because once you have that in order, everything else is open to you.
And as I began to discuss this with my then girlfriend approximately 20 years ago, she said, "This is interesting. Caloric restriction, cyclic fasting, specific nutraceuticals, a refined diet, all of these things clearly, demonstrably, scientifically contribute to lifespan extension." And I explained how I was going to commence collecting data, writing a book, and she said, she is now my wife, by the way, Nunette Amin-Ra, "Why don't we do it?" And it took some time to reflect on that, and I said, well, why not? And that
Man, he used his nerd race. Like, seriously.
was about a decade and a half ago. And through a few evolutions, if you will, we've been on the Amen regimen for approximately 15 years without fail. It entails
15 years of consistently eating one meal per day. That's dedication right there. That's dedication. That's respect right there. Because it's not only about saying something, but also that he put himself to the test. Leo, I see you're in already. And oh, come on, that's sweet. Yeah, it is a beautiful story.
a daily fast of 23 hours in duration, caloric restriction, that is, we consume approximately 1,000 to 1,500 calories a day.
Oh yeah, Deb, you were asking about how many calories they eat per day.
Entails specific nutrients to 1,500 calories a day. It entails specific nutraceuticals, that is, nutraceuticals that have been found to increase maximum lifespan in one or more organisms. It entails.
So basically, what he's saying is that he focused on key nutrients that are increased, gotta be that, like Leo says, basically to extend your life. Basically, I cannot. It's anyway, it doesn't matter. So Leo, you just step in with your yeah. I see. I know this is Leo's personality already. He stepped in with much of those studies don't hold water. What is your proof? Don't just say something. What is your proof? Name it.
Daily exercise. It entails meditation, ascesis, and basically that is the Amen regimen. Qualitatively, the diet is devoid of meat and centers on specific staples, if you will. Basically, nuts, grains.
Nuts. All right. Deb, that's for you. You start with almond nuts, which is a really great choice.
Tubers, dried fruit. We always eat in the evening. We consume our evening meal, our main meal, after our evening resistance regimen. Our exercise is typically organized in such a way that In the morning, we engage in so-called persistence exercise, what you might call aerobics. In the afternoon, there's typically another aerobic session, time permitting. And in the evening is the resistance exercise session. And this can entail a number of different standard, conventional weightlifting exercise with integrated weighted yoga postures in between sets. And after this evening resistance session is meditation, our final meditation session, because meditation is interspersed throughout the day. We meditate in 2 different postures, and one of those postures I can demonstrate to you briefly. This posture is called Aru.
Wait, hold up. Let me standing versus sitting. My experience is when I fast, I am less hungry. When I eat, I start to bench cues. Yeah, this is how the body actually works. Really, it's the body just want to listen to what you tell it to do or teach it to do. Just like what you're saying right now, Deb, is that when you want to change a habit or create a different routine, the fact of the matter is you just have to switch it and try to stick to it, and your body is just waiting or wanting to learn something new from you, to be challenged in a different way. A lot of the time some people are saying they don't have the willpower, or they don't have the whatever, the discipline, all of that. Yeah, I mean they just have to start. A lot of the time they just have to start and stick to it, because a lot of the time we are thinking things through too much, while the information is already out there, what people know already, okay, what you can do or what you should do. At this point, we are not dealing with the issue of lack of information. We are dealing with the issue of lack of transformation, because again, just like what you just said, when you start to eat, the moment that you start to eat, it's a certain type of food, your body just actually craves it, and your body just learn, okay, this is our new routine, and this is what's gonna happen. And the moment that you try to break the routine or try to do something different, your body goes like, yeah, this is what your body says. But let's take a look at his meditation posture.
That is the standing form. And this is the posture that I typically assume in my briefer periods of meditation, say 10 to 15 minutes. Aru Aha is a composite Egyptian term, and it means, again, standing form. The ultimate intent of all minimalist meditation is to progressively produce a state of sustained tranquility where ideas, images, emotions are expurgated from the mind. There are,
to be honest,
essentially
his body, his muscle look quality, like he's very dry. And you might notice also in his body that he has small bumps, small pimples or lumps that people might mistake and think that he's using basically steroids or pharmaceutical help. But the fact of the matter is, when you become very lean, sometimes your body develops some sort of lumps or bumps, and these are bumps from that just happen from how you call it, fat deposit bumps. You probably would see them as this documentary goes by.
10 domains of interventional studies, what I call the tetractys of anti-aging interventions. Several are fundamental. They include caloric restriction, cyclic fasting, and specific nutraceuticals, and a range of discrete genetic modifications that alter specific physiological phenomena in organisms. Almost all of them will entail either an increase in the optimization of autophagy, and that is simply a process that enables the body to renew its tissues. Glycation is...
So autophagy, what he's actually talking about is fasting triggers cellular cleaning, potentially slowing aging and reducing disease risk.
An important phenomenon.
That's basically a cellular repair for and longevity process, what happens basically during fasting.
Glycation is that process whereby circulating sugars bind to protein, lipids in the body and render them resistant to renewal. That accelerates aging. You also have fat accumulation or adiposity. That has been found to increase the rate of aging and limit lifespan. But more specifically, it's been found that the extirpation of adipose, the diminution of adiposity, increases maximum lifespan in mammals and other organisms.
People are going to look at you and say, there's no way you can have that kind of muscle and not eat for 23 hours a day. I mean, I know the body's more efficient, but people are going to say, well, doesn't your body start eating up the muscle after a while?
Okay, that's a great question. Because one thing is for sure, especially in the bodybuilding world or the fitness world, is that they always say you got to eat at a certain interval, 3 hours, 2 hours, 4 hours, an interval between each meal, because you don't want to risk of losing muscle. So now let's hear what he's gonna say. What is the answer that he has found?
Actually, limited muscle catabolism is a good thing. Limited tissue catabolism is a good thing. And it might be illuminating to conceive of it in this way. The vast majority of the solid component of your body consists of proteins. And each of those proteins that constitute our proteome, so to speak, have a definite lifespan. And the integrity and health of your body is largely dictated by the integrity of your individual proteins. So if you are able to prevent damage to the corpus of proteins that constitute your body, or increase the rapidity with which you renew and recycle proteins, you are functionally, physiologically younger.
There are a lot of people that say, because it used to be protein, protein, protein. Where are you getting your protein? You got to eat animals. Nowadays, the big thing is, where do you get your sugar? It's like the body needs to have sugar to run on. Sugar is the body's fuel. If you don't put sugar in your body, carbs all day long, you're gonna basically waste away. What do you say to that?
Well, there's a fascinating body of research which indicates that the process of glycation is integral to aging. And glycation is...
Like up, sub up, like up, sub up. All right. I think you guys already know some of the benefits I can say of his method, or using his method, which is simplicity and convenience. And it's time saving, because that's one thing for sure. When you're eating 1 to 2 meals per day, you save a lot of time, because you reduce meals. Preparing meals take a lot of time, to be honest. Not only that, you have to think about what you want to eat. You have to basically, get it from the groceries or have it delivered to your place, and then you have to store it, preparing it, and so many steps that are in between, from getting your groceries to finally having a meal that you could eat. And it's a good thing to eat. And the fact of the matter is, it's cost effective as well, because you lower grocery expenses with fewer meals. And that's something for people who are going through a hard time. Although it's not the ideal way to actually, to live, but sometimes they have the benefits. And everything negative, there's always a benefit.
That process whereby simple sugars illicitly bind to the body's proteins and render them resistant to that process of renewal. And this has been found to greatly accelerate aging. That's one aspect of it. The other aspect is that when scientists have subjected animals to a low glycotoxin diet, that is a diet that is low in so-called advanced glycation in products, this independently increases lifespan. So you have a concomitant effect. If you reduce the endogenous generation of glycation products, and of course the best way to do that is simply to reduce your circulating sugar concentration.
Yeah. All of that he's talking about sugar. To the reducing the purpose, all of that he's referring to the reasons why you should reduce or limit the amount of sugars or carbs that you eat, to restrict it or just to have it under control. Because again, almost every era there's something different that we have to focus on. So now we're in the era of protein, to have your protein level up, and then it used to be basically the level of sugar or carbs to to eat your complex carb, but now we are in the era of protein.
Lowest extent practicable.
There used to be an era also of micronutrients. The fact of the matter is, all of these things are somewhat beneficial to you, but it's having the right configuration that is fitted for your body or fitted for your goal, basically. And one thing is for sure, when it comes to processed sugar, it's a no-go. I think probably you guys have seen so many some videos on social media about what sugar does to a baby's body or older person body, and it's all basically not good news. And the fact of the matter is, although our body needs sugar for energy and so many other processes, it's not what you think. It's not just about eating just any type of sugar. It's about eating the type of sugar that your body actually needs. And the majority of it comes from natural sources. And these are the sources that basically from fruits, for example, from fruits, because these are the sugars that your body actually understands. The other ones, processed ones, are basically, you would imagine they are not complete because they go through a process of filtering or a process of change. But when you go for the sugars that you will find in fruits or just natural sugars, then it is complete, and it speaks and it connects to the body properly.
And you avoid or reduce your assimilation of exogenous advanced glycation in products, which are created upon cooking and are extant in various foods, whether cooked or not. You can increase lifespan through this avenue of glycation restriction. And this is one of those interventions that are included in the so-called tetractys of anti-aging interventions, that is, glycation diminution. And this points to the fundamental importance of cyclic fasting as an avenue of lifespan prolongation, because it is cyclic fasting that most potently suppresses the concentration of circulating sugar. The lower the concentration of circulating sugar in your body, the less sugar you have to attack your body's tissues and to render them dysfunctional, if you will.
Because again, eating a lot of sugar corrodes the body. That's one thing that happens to when you eat a lot of sugar. It corrodes the body, makes the body somewhat slower than it should. And I see Leo just said, I honestly believe that having a normal meal and exercising is enough. Mostly all you need. Yeah, I mean, at your stage, it is what you need, but still, there are just the general way of doing things, but there are also more specific ways that you elevate your awareness or elevate your method of living. Because right now, Leo, I remember you said you are 20 years old, so eating normal meals and exercising, yeah, it's enough for you. But as you get older, you will start to trying to find more specific targets that you want to accomplish. And then, yeah, when you start to want to have these different targets that you want to accomplish, probably you definitely would have to do something differently. But to answer your question, to answer to your last statement, yeah, mostly a normal meal and exercise. Yeah.
Where would you say you get your energy from if your glucose levels are kind of low?
That's an interesting question. Most individuals have an appreciable amount of energy stored in adipose. And this points to another element of the detractors of anti-aging interventions, and it's that
Sub up and like the stream. I appreciate it. Sub up and like the stream.
if animals are rendered lean through either surgical extirpation of adipose tissue, targeted genetic interventions which decrease adiposity, that increases lifespan independently. So, in a convoluted way, what I'm saying is that when you don't consume exogenous sugar, you make use of that stored adipose. And that extirpation of adipose independently promotes longevity.
Right, obviously you can get energy off of fat, but you don't have a lot of fat on you, so where do you get your energy from?
I like your question because that points to the third avenue, which is autophagy. When you deplete your glycogen largely from your liver and your skeletal muscle, and again, the morning aerobic exercise stimulates that, and you have a low content of adipose tissue, your body makes use of stored proteins. It catabolizes all of your body's proteinaceous tissues and recycles them as substrates for energy. And that autophagic induction of energy metabolism, if you will, contributes to lifespan prolongation by renewing proteins more rapidly. Under sustained caloric restriction or cyclic fasting, skeletal muscle is preferentially preserved, and there are more labile proteins that are catabolized before protein and before brain tissue. So these are selectively preserved.
So, okay, let's talk about your diet. So you eat a lot of nuts and, was it roots, starches, things like that?
Yes, grains.
Grains, and you eat all this within an hour?
Yes, or less, yes. We have our tripartite meal, if you...
Hey, Richard, I just see you step in. I got good news for you, man. So I began working on your video idea, your stream idea. So I think by next week, Monday, I think I can make the stream ready. So we can talk about the invisible energies that try to make us mad. So we give off negative energy. This was a stream idea that Richard come out with, and I'm gonna make a stream about it. I think are you gonna be in for next week Monday, Richard? So let me know so I can make the stream. When I'm streaming, you're gonna be around. You can have a back and forth.
You will. And by tripartite, I mean that the first thing we consume when we break our 23+ hour fast is what I call the Amen Amino Elixir, consisting of 3 protein sources: soy, spirulina, brewer's yeast, and ideally a dozen isolated amino acids. And the next thing we consume is the main.
I mean, you say it's let me see. Well, Richard, we need both protein for us males. I think I did a stream on that. I think it was last week. For us male, we need more. When it comes to fat, it's more for the ladies. The ladies carry around more body fat than us males. So when you say as men, we need to eat more fat, more protein. Our goal should be more protein than fat because we are built as men more muscular oriented, and the ladies have more body fat. And I see Leo says he's talking about his body eating itself, and autophagy, but that still doesn't explain his muscle. Were you here when the stream began? He also trains, but still, we haven't finished with watching this documentary, so there's more that we can learn from it.
One of those staples of which I mentioned earlier, these typically include beans and rice. Typically we have one of 3 beans. Cannellini beans is my favorite, the red kidney beans. And when I say bean, this is the common bean, Phaseolus vulgaris. And there are many different cultivars. But one of the main reasons that we select the bean as an optimal staple, if you will, is because there are many properties associated with the common bean that accord with lifespan extension.
Yeah,
and
nice.
these include inhibiting the enzyme alpha glucosidase, which promotes optimal glycemia, if you will.
And some people think, okay, when you eat beans, you're gonna fart a lot. But fact of the matter is, you gotta choose your battle. Your body is not gonna always do what you wanted. I mean, when you eat meat, you also, your fart also stink, because when you eat meat and you go to the bathroom and then somebody go after you, they're like, what happened here? Like, yeah, that's how they feel. Like, but the fact of the matter is, the more you eat beans, your body gonna get used to it. Again, I'm telling you guys, your body just wanna do exactly what you tell it. As much as you are serious with your body and you are basically doing it over and over again. And when it comes to beans, after a while, your body starts to get used to it. Just like eggs, you can eat a lot of eggs and then your body, your fart is basically, very stinks. But the fact of the matter is, the more you eat it, the more your body starts to learn how to process it properly. And let's continue.
Beans are full of fiber, which really helps the sugar levels in your body.
Indeed.
It helps get rid of toxins. Beans, it's great.
Indeed.
It's probably one of the best cooked foods you can have. If you're going to go with cooked foods, it's great. Okay, go on, sorry. Roots.
No. Yes, roots, tubers, rice, grain, and nuts and seeds. Fruit and fresh vegetation is not high on our list of staples, and that's simply because the cellulose and the water content take up space, if you will. So if you have a regimen where you're restricting your feeding to an hour or less, and you consume foods that occupy a large volume, have a higher water content, indigestible fiber, over time that can reduce your sense of satiation. So you want to have nutritionally dense foods in order to essentially derive the most nutrients in a minimal amount of time.
Right, you want nutrient-dense food.
And then there is the minor meal. And the minor meal is nothing more than a dessert. Typically nuts, dried fruit, often what you might call peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, or peanut butter and nesubat sandwiches, which roughly means royal jelly. That's one of the staples of our minor meal. And I say peanut butter and jelly with some reluctance, because it differs a bit from what you might find in a typical grocery store. It's simply crudely crushed peanuts and fruit preserves on bread. That's a typical dessert. A typical dessert may also be roasted peanuts with dark chocolate.
I'm glad you said peanut butter, because I love peanut butter, and everybody says peanuts are bad. It's got the toxins in it.
Aflatoxin.
Aflatoxin, yeah.
That is why roasted peanuts are active.
Okay, doesn't he know that fruits contain sugars? Yeah.
Actually preferential in our ethos, if you will.
Okay, what do you mean by that, Leo? Because he do know that fruits contain sugar, but what is your initial purpose or point of saying that?
Because if you consume raw peanuts or germinated or soaked peanuts, it promotes that growth of fungal organisms and aflatoxins. But
yeah, it's true though, because one thing is for sure is that peanuts or peanut butter tends to have a long shelf life, and peanuts and rice is one of the food that basically, especially rice, you should eat, whenever you cook rice, you should eat it within 24 hours, because after a while it starts to build molds and you're not gonna see them. A lot of different grains do that, and also peanut butter. Peanut butter a lot of the time they have mold in them, but you're not gonna see it. So definitely always try to eat this food as they have a very short shelf life.
To give an indication of the scientific basis.
Oh, like that. And yeah, I understand what you mean. He said he doesn't eat sugars, but the dry fruits basically have a lot of sugars because they are more concentrated. And another thing too is that when you eat the dry fruits, what tends to happen is that you have to consume more sugar. Because I mean, I don't know if you guys ever eaten dry fruits before. After a while, even though there's probably even the ones with sugar grains on them or without, just plain dry fruits, you crave or you feel thirsty afterwards. And the reason for that is because when you eat dry fruits, it needs to turn into a regular fruits inside your stomach. Basically, it needs to get water or some form of moisture in order to be consumed or breaking down in your stomach. So this is the reason why when you eat dry fruits, they tend to be higher in sugar, but also they tend to be, you need to consume more liquid. But it depends on the dry fruit also, because a lot of them tends to have, it's not an all bad thing, you know. It would be not so helpful if you eat in dry fruits and then there's white sugar on top of it. That's like, nah, that's a no-go. That's like really an L. Bruh. Like seriously. But you want to stick to just the normal dried fruits. And let's go.
There is an entire tractate with several sections that
yeah, I know what you mean, Leo. Like eating consumed powder.
Discuss multifarious epidemiological and interventional studies which find a relationship between longevity and nut consumption.
Again, like I'm saying, this is his lifestyle. That doesn't mean that you have to do it. But if you would try it for the purposes that he's saying, that for me, for example, I'll have one day of the week that I'll basically eat one meal per day or just have smoothies. Something that you could do, to give your body to do something different during the week. But this is not something, for everybody. Of course, if you're suffering from different illnesses, if you are not 100% or 100% healthy, if you have health condition or health challenges, I wouldn't consider you doing it. But again, you all are adults. You do what you want with your body or with your food.
And peanuts are particularly prominent in those studies. That is, it's been found that consumption of peanuts accords with lifespan. The particular variety is simply crushed, crunchy peanuts with little added salt, no other ingredients.
It's funny because almost all peanut butters out there, they have palm oil,
sugar,
and the sugar and all that.
That's why I'm sometimes reluctant to call it peanut butter, because of the confusion. That is essentially the Amen meal, the tripartite Amen meal. Throughout the 23-hour fast, we typically consume teas and herbal infusions of various sorts. These include green tea, black tea, oolong tea, but also two of the South African teas, honeybush and red tea or rooibos, hibiscus, one of my favorites.
One of my favorite too, hibiscus tea. Are you guys tea drinkers? Do you guys, Richard, Leo, and and Deb and others, do you guys have a favorite tea that you prefer? For me, I think the one Echinacea is one tea that I prefer, and I mean there's a lot of different variation of teas that I like. Echinacea, or is it not green tea? Rooibos tea, or what was the other one again? There's so many actually. Chamomile is a nice one. I don't know this dude, but he lack on energy. I mean, that's the thing. If he's fasting 23 hours, Richard, 23 hours per day, he's on a fast. And he's also fasting. For sure, he's gonna be an energy saving mode. But maybe he haven't eaten yet, or but surely maybe that's his character too, because there are some people who are ultimately like I would say graceful. They take their time, but for sure, like the way that we are interacting right now is much quicker. And for him, maybe he's just, just lack the energy, or basically this is maybe his character.
Rhubarb tea, and any number of herbal infusions, most of which
Peach mango green tea. I think, Deb, I think I tried it. I had peach mango, but I think mine was black tea. But green tea, peach mango green tea is delicious. That's for sure. And black tea once daily for Richard. What about you, Leo?
have been found to influence one of these several physiological.
And peach mango green tea, especially right now, is if you have it like iced tea, for example, is really, it's the summertime is getting closer. So if you have it right now, when the summer is like very nice beverage to basically keep you cool.
Factors that we know are operative in the aging process, and those again include autophagy optimization, glycation inhibition, fat oxidation, diminution of inflammation, etc.
So when you say nutraceuticals, that sounds like something from the pharmaceutical industry. You're talking about herbs and natural things.
That's quite correct. There's several of these. One is niacin-bound chromium. Another is glucosamine. Another is curcumin or turmeric. Another is resveratrol. And combined with cyclic or intermittent fasting, the polyphenols that you find in green tea, in blueberries, and in pomegranates. So when we speak of nutraceuticals, we're talking about these agents. And physiologically, all of these nutraceuticals have been found to modulate one of several molecular mechanisms. And again, we have our familiar glycation, autophagy induction, immune enhancement, and
remember, whenever you mention autophagy, is really referring to fasting triggers cellular cleanup. This is the process it's actually referring to, and potentially slowing aging and reduce disease risk. That is autophagy.
lipid oxidation or minimization.
And you take these throughout the day as mixed in with your teas and water and stuff?
Yes, yes. The teas that we consume, when they are sweetened, they're sweetened with non-calorific sweeteners such as stevia, which is essentially the sole sweetener that I use during my fasting period.
Is that your
Yes, stevia is like one of the best. I think one of the top sweeteners that you could use actually. Turmeric is good for inflammation. That's true, Deb. Very good. I try to have turmeric in my meals whenever, I make, especially when I make something soup, or, you can have turmeric in different ways that you prefer. But definitely I eat it. I have turmeric weekly.
Yes, sorry.
Not at all. It's a good sign.
It's like a growling bear. No, this is actually a good comparison here. You haven't eaten in a while, your stomach's growling. He hasn't eaten since yesterday. And
Okay. Just like I was saying, Richard, just like I was saying, he haven't eaten since yesterday. So basically, every day he goes in a 23 hours fast. So right now, my boy is like really an energy saving mode. So this is the reason why he's speaking like this.
fine.
I haven't eaten since yesterday either.
Yeah, well, that's the point.
Excellent.
That's the point.
And actually, that effect is partly
What just happened? Hold up. Let's see what just happened. Anyway, I think something just went wrong. Let me just see.
Meet Dr.
Wait, let me see.
Growling bear.
Oh, I think the file is corrupted. that sucks. That's, yeah. Okay, I'll move on and then see if I can get back to it. But anyway, so now I wanted to talk about
This is
this as well. So we're gonna take, I mean, maybe it's a break. I don't know if you guys have heard of this. Basically, this influencer and what happened to her, which is very much crazy. But
everything we know so far about the beauty influencer who was shot and killed while she was live streaming. So yesterday, 23-year-old Mexican model and content creator Valeria Marquez was live streaming on TikTok from her beauty salon in the city of Zapopan as she
Richard, he's in his 40s. He's in his mid 40s, actually.
normally did. She was chatting with viewers while waiting for someone who her friend said would deliver her an expensive gift from a fan, a gift that she had to receive in person. After waiting for a while, she grew impatient and she said to the chat that she was gonna leave since it was getting late. It was around 6:30 p.m. But her friend, also an influencer named Vivian, urged her to stay. Not long later, a man finally arrived on a motorcycle. She looks up at him as he approaches and he asks her, "Are you Valeria?" She responds yes and then mutes the live stream, anticipating a conversation. Only moments later, horrified viewers watched as she was shot multiple times in the torso and the head. She collapses against the table, but never letting go of the stuffed pig that she received as a gift earlier that day. The live stream was only ended when someone believed to be her friend Vivian, but not confirmed, picked up the phone and turned it off.
The hell? So your friend
Tragically, this footage has been spread across the
sees you, you know, off, and then the first thing that she did was basically turn off your live stream. I mean, should have called the ambulance or called the police. Basically, should be panicking.
internet and social media platforms are still scrambling to take it down. The state's prosecutor office confirmed that they are investigating this case as a femicide, the killing of a woman for gender-based reasons.
Really? Who does that shit? I mean, sorry, but who, like, why do people do this kind of crap, really?
In fact, this marks the 8th femicide investigation in her state this month.
Guadalajara. It's a word I always like to say, Guadalajara. But one thing that I've heard also, according to connect to this story, is that she was going through custody dispute with her ex, something like that, and then probably the reason why this happened. She was off, but they're saying that he's under investigation also. So the story is not truly clear at this moment, but it's still uncovering because it's still doing an investigation to find out exactly what happened.
Alone. Now, the police themselves haven't officially named a suspect, but local media reports point to a man known as LRR. He's supposedly the leader of one of the local cartel gangs. They describe him as one of the most violent criminals in the country. Now, authorities have revealed that Valeria and LRR have dated for several months, and they say that it is possible that he was enraged by the attention and the expensive gifts that she'd been receiving from her fans online.
Bro, move on, man. Move on, bro.
It also turns out, according to local media reports, that he has been linked to deaths of multiple celebrities and influencers in the past as well. However, it is important to note that the police haven't officially named him as the main suspect. But of course, I'll keep you guys updated.
Yeah. If I know anything also, I'm gonna keep you guys updated. But fellas, sometimes you just gotta leave these things, leave people be, because again, if it didn't work out. But anyway, this is basically a type of guy who would do such a thing. It's really disgusting. And what else?
3 celebrities.
Okay, wait.
And
hold
killed
on.
while she was live streaming. So yesterday, 23-year-old Mexican
Wait, we were talking about basically. I want to talk about basically the different type of celebrities who eat 1 meal per day.
Celebrities who eat only 1 meal a day. Number 1, Chris Hemsworth. The Thor actor has revealed that when preparing for roles, he sometimes follows a 1 meal a day diet to help manage his weight and sculpt his physique. Number 2, Howard Schultz. Former Starbucks CEO Howard Schultz has mentioned that he practices intermittent fasting, often eating only at specific times during the day to boost his energy and focus. Number 3, Gordon Ramsay. The renowned chef and television personality has also stated that he has tried intermittent fasting and sometimes eats only 1 meal a day to maintain his health and mental clarity.
Exactly. Exactly. It's not about, sometimes some people think it's about changing their entire life. Some people just think drastically, making a drastic change. from eating the way that you're eating right now, maybe 3 or more meals per day, to just eating 1 per day. Like, you don't have to make this drastic change right now. You can choose 1 time per month, 1 time per week, or whatever that fits your schedule, your lifestyle, basically. So I think there's more of celebrities basically who eats.
I love God.
Kevin Gates,
at the end of
he's gonna claim also he eats 1 time.
Did you feel like you were abusing the temple?
Yes, I was. I love God. So if I love God, my body, my temple, I can't hear God talking if my temple clogged up. I only eat 1 meal a day. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
I eat 1 meal a day because I govern my temple. I govern it. On Mondays and Thursdays, I dry fast. I only eat 1 meal a day, and everybody that see me, I got partners my age, and my house was thinning and everything. I was losing hair and everything due to being unhealthy.
Yeah, one of the things is that when you eat 1 meal per day or just intermittent fasting, it helps with mental and cognitive benefits like focus. Some report heightened clarity as energy shift from digestion to brain function, because it's one thing I was mentioning as well. When you don't have energy or blood flow into your stomach, then the blood can flow where you want it, because that's the thing too. Because for Kevin Gates, I believe his name is, for him, one thing is for sure, it shows that he's disciplined. It shows that he has strengthened himself to be self-controlled and to be able to control his appetite over time. Because when you have that form of self-discipline, it trickles to a lot of different areas of your life. And this is why it's good, because a lot of people tend to do it for not only for the health benefit of longevity or the different areas that I've mentioned as well, but some people do it just basically they want to have something that helps you stay disciplined. And moving on is, I believe, this one right here is
5 celebrities.
Another 5 celebrities that you guys know who actually eats 1 meal a day as well.
Who eat only 1 meal a day. The last one you'll never guess. Number 1. Zac Efron. Efron's intense training keeps him on a super controlled diet, eating just 1 meal daily. This extreme discipline has helped him stay shredded and energized. Number 2. Gwyneth Paltrow. The wellness mogul sticks to a 1 meal a day plan, showing off her dedication to extreme health routines. Her single meal has become the stuff of goop lore, driving fans to try the trend. Number 3. Jason Statham.
That's my boy right there. Jason Statham. Like, I think when his movies I discovered him was Transporter, when he was doing delivery basically. And I think that's one of the first movies that I really learned him from.
For his action roles, Statham's single meal.
One thing is for sure, when you see him there are some actors, the moment that you see them, their picture in a movie and it's gonna be a great movie. And this is one of the actor for sure. The moment I see him, I know it's gonna be the movies. I should definitely watch it.
Is his secret weapon. His carefully planned diet keeps him lean, mean, and ready to tackle intense stunts. Number 4. Madonna. With a long-standing commitment to health, Madonna eats 1 power-packed meal, enough to sustain her high-energy performances. Her intense discipline is why she remains unstoppable. Number 5. Matthew McConaughey. Embracing intermittent fasting, McConaughey keeps his physique with 1 daily meal. His commitment to keeping it alright with a 1 meal approach is Hollywood legend.
Facts. Really good. I mean, it takes discipline. Because let's say, for example, there are other things in your life that are not so healthy, other activities that you're doing that you're not so proud about. 1 meal per day helps as well, because at the end of the day, we cannot be 100% healthy all the time, because at the end of the day, we are human beings. We have certain things that we might be inclined to do or might want to, use to pass our time. So that doesn't mean, again, this is a method that we could use, but that doesn't mean that it's something that you have to change your life into right now. I don't believe them 3. Okay, which one? Number 3, which one? Because Richard, there was 2. Who can you label them? But again, it might not be something that they're doing their entire lives. It might be a certain period of time, maybe before an acting role, or perhaps at a certain season. Let's say, you know, a certain season of the year, they basically use these methods to get their body fit and to get back on track before, you know, engaging in a certain activity. Let's say, for example, for filming. And now I think it's time that we have a laugh, because laughter is also a good way of it's also helpful or healthy to laugh, because again, you guys already know the reason why, a lot of the reasons why you need to laugh. But again, we're gonna keep it in terms of the topic of today. I think I'll get, let's say, when people, I've never been have I ever been a server or work at a restaurant, but people who work at the restaurant, I think this is the frustration that a lot of you might go through.
Pasta. I think I'll get the pasta. There's like fucking 60. Which one? Rigatoni, linguine, cannelloni. Come on, you're wasting my time. Aren't they all the same? Get out. What? Get out. Yeah, that's right. Get out.
Wow.
I think I'll get the pasta. I think I'll get the pasta. There's like fucking 60. Which one? Rigatoni, linguine, cannelloni. Come on, you're wasting my time. Aren't they all the same?
Hey, what? I mean, seriously, my boy feel disrespected. He cannot believe what he just hear.
Get out. What? Get out. Yeah, that's right. Get out.
Even though he's losing a customer, but he don't care, man. He felt okay. All right, so let's move on. So again, this has happened to almost all of us. A waiter making you think they have your food when it's someone else's. For sure. I think now maybe, you know, maybe sometimes it's not basically, yeah, his silly emoji face. Yeah, man, his silly emoji face. Sometimes it's not their waiter's intention to do this, because, you know, as a waiter, they have to try to try to be nice, try to make people feel comfortable, and try to make people feel welcome and at ease. So sometimes they might have, you know, a meal in their hand and they're gonna serve it to somebody next to you, or they have to pass along your side to basically be able to, you know, to serve the person whose meal is ready. So they might be walking around, you know, and they're passing you and they look at you, smile, or just, you know, they look at you and their facial expression is just very much calm. So you might think, okay, you are very hungry. You might think that this is a sign that it's your meal, but when it come to find out, that was extreme, bro. That was extreme. That was extreme. Like, I didn't expect that. I didn't watch this before, but I didn't expect that. Okay, so now another one. And, you know, also when you are really hungry, but you have to pray. And when it was just the other day, when it was, there was some film I was watching, I think over the weekend, sometime, but anyway, I was watching a movie and meal was ready. You know, you got full family and grandma cook. And then for some reason, the son or the grandson was reaching into the pot to start to take his, they were eating sausage. He's gonna basically start to eat sausage, and she slapped his hand, and that was so hilarious, basically. But again, some parents, you know, you always have to pray before you eat, and this is what happens when you are very hungry. When you have to pray, we do know when the prayer, the length of the prayer before you eat depends on the amount or how hungry you are.
Thank you, Lord, for blessing food, Gina. Amen.
I ain't blessing that.
Come on.
Nah, do it again.
Oh,
do it again.
Hungry. I'm hungry.
I know you're hungry, but do it again. I ain't hear you. What was that?
God is good. God is
Here
great.
we go.
All right, let's battle.
Oh, I'm so hungry. Thank you, Lord, for blessing food, Gina. Amen.
I ain't blessing that.
Come on.
Nah, do it again.
Oh, I'm
do it again.
hungry. I'm hungry.
I know you're hungry, but do it again. I ain't hear you. What was that?
God is good. God is
Here
great.
we go.
Yeah, okay. Let me answer this question. The statement that Richard just made. With hunger, your sleep quality will be bad. Yes, but that's if you have a certain routine that you eat before you go to sleep, or you eat. It depends on the routine of your eating schedule. Because the fact of the matter is, if you have a stable routine that you go to sleep on an empty stomach, your body knows, okay, this is what we're doing right now. But the moment that you shift your routine, your balance, your body goes off balance. So this is the reason why when you are hungry, it could be very much difficult to fall asleep, or you can sleep badly. But also you can sleep badly when you are sleeping with a full stomach, because your stomach is still active, or your blood pressure was raised before, just when you eat, because throughout, and your blood pressure was raised because throughout the digestive process you become active. And the process of sleeping is a process of relaxation. And if you have a process of relaxation, if you're supposed to be in a process of relaxation and then you eat something and then you become more active, that's gonna also basically be bad for your sleep. But again, if you have been doing it for a period of time, you eat and then you go to sleep for a long period of time, your body again get used to it. But ideally, it's not the best way to go, because again, as you are asleep, you might think, okay, your body is digesting the food, but yet your body is not doing the job as best as it could, especially when you are sleeping and then you have stuck food in your stomach. Because again, when you have food in your stomach, you can imagine you cannot lay on your stomach. You probably have to lay on your left side, and basically you don't feel comfortable when you with a full stomach and you have to go to sleep. And I think we are almost.
Did you know that if you
Oh yeah, this was something I wanted to it seems like an interesting.
add sweetened condensed milk to rice that is
Okay, you think little meal before bedtime's like, okay, 1 to 3 hours. Yeah, a small meal is best, because small meals, and there are certain type of food like like carbs that basically digest in your stomach very quickly. So these meals can be, I would say normally minimum 3 to 4 hours before bedtime, but if you can manage. But what you teach your body again is what your body gonna follow.
already been cooked for 3 hours. Mix everything.
Oh, let me start this over because this is
Did
too
you know
good.
that if you add sweetened condensed milk to rice that has already been cooked for 3 hours, mix everything, add cream, mix it, cook for 40 minutes, add powdered milk, mix everything, transfer the mixture to a dish.
What is that supposed to be? Really? What is that supposed to be? Like, why? Why? Seriously?
And sprinkle cinnamon powder on top, you will get
diarrhea.
Yep,
You'll get diarrhea.
that's it. That's a diarrhea portion right there, really. I mean, all right. Something interesting I wanted to show you guys as well. Something very interesting. Because we are living in the era of AI. I mean, I can assume that most of us nowadays are using some form of AI to complete our task, for example. And now there are also a lot of jobs that are becoming less and less. Or basically, the AI is going to replace certain type of jobs. And this is one of it.
I'm about to lose my job. And this is scary because I developed this skill over 20 years. I just, boom, look at an x-ray and say, oh, here we go. We have right middle lobe pneumonia, maybe left upper lobe consolidation. Patient is very sick. She has bilateral pneumonia. We need to take care of her. But here comes AI, and of course, they pick it up in a second. So now, you don't need professional eyes to look at these x-rays. You just have artificial intelligence, and they picked up the pneumonia. So I'm going to be applying to McDonald's soon. I hope they have some openings.
My boy is drastic. Okay, so I got a question for you guys. Do you feel that the work that you're doing right now, or perhaps your career that you want to step into in the future, will AI be a threat? Will AI basically jeopardize your job possibilities, and especially basically on what you are eating? Poor X-ray technician. Yeah, maybe Richard, maybe the machine learning are better, are getting better at recognizing smaller cues or things that we cannot identify as human being as quicker. Because again, one of the main cause of basically people dying and hospital, for example, is medical error. Basically the errors that people make. So these machines, AI is definitely could be something that revolutionize, or in a way that helps doctors or healthcare providers to be more specific or more accurate. Because again, doctors are human beings and do make mistakes. Because yeah, we are human beings. Deb said that looks like a lot of sweet and calories. That's basically a lot of nonsense, really. I mean, who would eat that? Like, when I look at it, really.
Did you know that if you
Why? Okay. Listen to it closely.
add sweetened condensed milk to rice that has already been cooked for 3 hours?
3 hours? Who cook rice for 3 hours? At this point, you don't have rice anymore. What do you have? Like, you don't have, the rice just evaporated at this point. And condensed milk, the entire can of condensed milk. I don't know if you guys have ever tried condensed milk to understand how sweet that is. Just like Deb said, condensed milk is very sweet.
Mix everything, add cream.
Cream? Really? Like, what? Who's she gonna feed this to? And who's gonna eat that thing?
Mix it, cook for 40 minutes.
40 minutes. So 3 hours on top of 40 minutes on top of the 3 hours of cooking.
Add powdered milk.
So much powdered milk. Seriously.
Mix everything, transfer the mixture to a dish, and sprinkle cinnamon powder on top. You will get...
Actually, the cinnamon powder is like even the cinnamon powder, really, like how much cinnamon powder do you need? Because after a while, the more cinnamon powder that you add to your meal, it becomes somewhat, the taste just is overbearing, the cinnamon powder. And too much of a lot of different things is basically overbearing. Who is she cooking this for? And why people actually, this guy, he really concluded right. This is definitely a diabetes concoction, and definitely constipation, and no.
Diarrhea.
Exactly.
You'll get diarrhea.
Yep, that's what you'll get. So, and food is Richard, hey, you trolling, man. Food is food. Yeah, I know what you mean. All right, so, and I wanted to talk about as well where this part, because again, we were talking about that eating 3 meals per day was not the norm. Let me see. Because it says here, the Industrial Revolution, which started around 1760, arguably also played a role in formalizing the concept of 3 specific mealtime across the Western world. The cadence of breakfast, lunch, and dinner matched the routine of long, standardized work days. Workers ate breakfast and dinner at home before and after work, while lunch was eaten with co-workers at a set time. With minimal breaks and no times for snacking, 3 essential meals become necessary. And this is what they call the fall of the Holy Trinity. But we're gonna take a look at this as well. Let me move this a bit. On the other side right here, move myself here. It says breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Because again, the conversation here we are having is breakfast, lunch, and dinner the only method of eating? Or has it always been the method of eating? Because again, we have watched this documentary of this doctor. He eats 1 meal per day. So now let's take a brief look at history. British people and many others across the world have been brought up on the idea of 3 square meals a day as a normal eating pattern. But it wasn't always that way. People are repeatedly told the hallowed family dinner around a table is declined, and the UK is not the only country experiencing such changes. The case for breakfast, missed by many with deleterious effects. Ooh, the British, they always like to use bigger words. Is that it make us more alert, help keep us trim, and improve children's work and behavior at school. So I do understand when it comes to basically eating breakfast for children, because they haven't learned to be able to control intermittent fasting or just fasting in the morning. I do understand that. But as adults, let's continue reading. But when people worry that breaking with traditional 3 meals a day is harmful, because this is what many people will believe. A lot of the time, just like when who did step in? I believe it was Leo. Yeah, when Leo stepped in, he said the research basically doesn't prove it. So basically, there's a reason for Leo being skeptic about eating 1 meal per day. And many people are skeptic about it too, because again, this is something that we have been grown into from since at birth. Well, not as a child, because at birth we are not so aware of these things as much, or we're not really aware of them at all. Okay, we were here, and I'll start again. Is that it make us more alert, help us trim and improve children's work and behavior at school? Okay, what's going on here now? But when people worry that breaking with traditional 3 meals a day is harmful, are they right about the traditional part? Have people always eaten in that pattern? So this is a typical English breakfast. Breakfast as we know it didn't exist for a large part of history. The Romans didn't really eat it, usually consuming only 1 meal a day around noon, say food historian Caroline Yetham. In fact, breakfast was actively frowned upon. The Romans believed it was, okay, I can go on and on in the history of this, but I think you guys, if you really are interested in this, this entire is a long, that's what she said, very long article. So if you guys are interested in going through this article, basically I'll leave the link in the description box that you can find, and you can go through it just at your own leisure if that's something that you want to do. And if you guys have any questions so far, I would suggest that you ask it now or last remarks, because I'm just about to close the show. And don't forget to share, like and sub up. So we're gonna go to the closing statement, because again, this is about eating 1 meal per day.
It takes 24 hours to digest 1 meal, to go from the large to intestine, small intestine, and to make it all the way out the system, for the body to break it down and extract the benefit and get rid of the waste. It takes 24 hours to break down 1 meal. Well, that means that if I eat 2 meals, I'm living 2 days on the inside of my body, and I'm only living really 1. So I'm wearing out my system the more that I eat. He said eat 1 meal a day. What is he saying? It gives your body a chance to break down that meal, extract that which is tonic, healing and good for you, and also break down and discard that which is toxic. But if you eat 3, now your body's still working on the tonic and the toxic from 1, Now you done slapped another meal on it. Now it's got to wrestle with the toxins from that. I can't get to all the toxins from the last meal because I'm working on this new. Then you come back with a snack. Then you come back. By the time we get finished with it, we are full of toxins. And we find ourselves suffering from illness and sickness unnecessarily. So the most honorable Elijah Muhammad was taught that by God. Then he took it to another level. He said, you don't have to just eat one meal a day. He said, if you eat one meal a day and fast 3 days out of a month, he said, you'll hardly ever get sick. He said, but if you don't want to ever get sick, just eat one meal and then nothing the next day and then eat one meal every other day. Think about that. He said that at the most you may get sick once every 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, I mean, these are for the champions. These are for the real hard people who can go hard. Because just like Richard just said, if you eat one meal per day, then better eat it before sleep. So you're talking within your normal range of 1 to 2 hours of basically not sleep, but eat before your meals. Probably that's something, I mean, I do understand, because what you said basically is better for if you're gonna go to sleep when you're hungry, it's gonna be basically you're gonna sleep badly. I do understand that, but again, it's not something that you initially have to do, or people who choose to do it, initially all the time. Everyone don't have one way of doing it, because again, you can use it as a method of cleansing, basically doing it once a month or once a week, whichever that you choose based on your lifestyle. Basically, and that's how it become a skinny human. Not really, actually. Not really. Your body, it depends, because again, Richard, we are living in a time of abundance. We think that if the less we eat, because this is what we have been taught, the less we eat, the more skinnier we'll get. But that's not always the case. If you choose, it depends on the quality of nutrients that you are selecting to eat. This is really what matters the most. The fact that the type of meals that you're eating, what type of nutrients are you getting from them? Because that doesn't mean because a lot of the time you can eat less, that doesn't mean that you're gonna always become skinny. Okay, it was a joke. Okay, I get it. But no, it's okay. It's okay. But it was worth repeating for other people who don't know as well, Richard. So I think the full length documentary, I already seen that I don't want to play, but I think he has basically made the statement clear. I think he has explained himself very much clearly, and we are at the end. Like, what do you guys want to talk about? Like, okay, Richard, how is your day? Are you gonna be training today? Are you guys? I think I already trained this morning. Actually, I worked out some. I did some triceps, I did chest, and what else? What else did I do? Oh, definitely, I always do stomach. I always do abs. It's mandatory whenever I train. I do abs training to keep my, my core, my abs always right there. Richard, are your abs popping out or what? Let me know. Let's see if we have. Oh, you already trained. What did you train today? Hit the upper chest. Yeah, man. Yeah, hey, to be honest, Richard, that's the only exercise for the main. I used to do decline or flat bench press. Normally nowadays I don't do it anymore. Because my number one focus right now is just my upper chest, because the lower part is very much easy to get. But the upper chest is like, for me, this is one part that I'm lacking, that I always try to, focus on the upper chest. Yeah, that's my thing. And yeah, even the flies. Today was dumbbell day. And even the flies, I was just only using it like with the incline bench. No full abs. I'm fat. Wait, are you kidding, man? No full abs. Come on, man. You're fat. Come on, bro. You gotta take this. You gotta go 1 meal per day, man. Or at least one day per week. that you have one big meal per day with, you know, with quality nutrients, for example. That's gonna help you to yeah. How many times do you eat per day, Richard? Oh, you're about 15 to 17% body fat. I think I'm actually lower than that, bro. Yeah, but abs are not a joke. Abs are very much, you know, challenging to actually achieve, and to keep them over time, that's also a challenge. But 15 to 70% body fat, bro, it's not that bad. I mean, sheesh, it's not bad at all. But I do understand there's a certain level that you want to be, and that could means that 15 to 70% body fat is not it. Sub up like 3 times. Okay, you eat like 3 times per day. Okay, I understand. Does that include a snack as well, or just 3 meals and then you finish for the day? That includes everything that you eat for that day specifically. Yeah? It could mean also the snacks, and yeah. So yeah, Richard, are you gonna be in for next week's stream? Because again, I say next week Monday I'm gonna focus on the topic that you mentioned. I'm gonna stream about that, so it'll be good that you share it to your boys or to your friends, to your people, and then, you know, to have the discussion, because it'll be good for you to be around so we can have a back and forth. It says it depends how I feel. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, man. Sometimes I know. Sometimes it's like you gotta indulge yourself as well. But no, you know, no judgment here. You know, it's more about like yeah, it's sometimes you have good moments, sometimes you have, you know, moments that could be better. So I understand that. I understand. Let me see. I want to check if the video, the documentary, if it's still acting up, because this is really weird. That all of a sudden, just okay. So it'll be here Monday. All right. So I'm gonna have your stream ready. We're gonna talk about the negative energies, the voodoos, the demons, the energy vampires, who basically are always trying to, you know, to spread the wings on, well, if they do have wings, but basically to transfer negative energy towards you or towards us in order to make, you know, to keep spreading that negative energy. So I do understand what you mean, and I think it's gonna be a great topic, actually. Really great topic, because normally the normal time I'm gonna start. The normal time that you see me start today is normal time. I start my stream, or I stream daily. And for my time, Amsterdam time is 4:30. So you can check Amsterdam time in comparison to your time. But again, you normally here on time, so I normally put the live, or the indication of the live, like let's say 30 minutes before. So okay, I'm looking at it. I think the video is what is corrupted, or the documentary is corrupted, or it just ends all of a sudden. So you're gonna be there. Okay. So 4:30 Amsterdam time, I'm gonna be live. Talk about this next week. So anyway, I think one thing I forgot to mention as well is some of the other benefits of eating one day. Or it's like, okay, 10:30 a.m. here. Is that a good time for you? 10:30 a.m. I'm planning to add one more stream, like maybe a late night stream as well. But I'm trying to work that in. It's possible for me. And 1 meal a day is like OMAD. OMAD. And let me see what else. Okay, but I already speak about that. It gives you mental clarity and cognitive benefits, because a lot of people who are, you know, function at the highest level, they actually do intermittent fasting, or they are always in a fast state, and they only consume maybe energy drink or coffee or some form of tea, or just simply water. So there's a lot of benefits to it. And cardiovascular health, reduce inflammation. So that's basically eating 1 meal per day. It reduces inflammation and cholesterol. Intermittent fasting may improve heart health markers like LDL and blood pressure. Again, your blood pressure is gonna be continuously being managed, because again, your blood pressure is managed because you don't have food in your stomach, or you know, your blood is not basically, it goes to where you basically need it the most, especially in your your mental faculties. And hormonal benefits is growth hormone increase, support muscle preservation and fat metabolism. Because this is one thing that you were saying also, Richard, that if you eat a little, then basically you get skinny. But if you're eating the quality amount of food that you need to eat, you know, in accordance to your weight, to, you know, basically the amount of calories that you need to put in to be married, or basically to be equal to the amount of activities or calories or calories out, then you know you're not gonna basically be losing weight. You'll get more leaner. So again, if you want to lose, get your abs to be out, you gotta go in a somewhat caloric deficit, or more lean food eating. And okay, so basically it enhances metabolism rate and energy expenditure, digestive rest, again, because you can imagine it reduces burden. Long fasting period allow the digestive system to recover, potentially alleviating bloating and discomfort. I mean, that's clear, because if you don't have anything in your stomach, you can imagine that your stomach is basically resting, at rest. And you know, if you're not consuming any meals, then bloating is not gonna be an issue for you. I feel good in that body fat percentage. Yeah, okay, that's good, man. That's good. If you're feeling good about it, then that's the most important thing, really. Mindful and spirituality, that's another thing, is that helps more stronger, more energy. Okay, that's good. That's the most important thing, because once you're okay with it, there you go. Because it's like 15-17% body fat. Great. And I think the last reason why, you know, the benefits of eating 1 meal per day is mindful and spirituality. Mindfulness and spirituality aligns with fasting tradition, fostering intentional eating and mental resilience. And again, this method of eating or feeding yourself is not for everyone. Yeah, it's not for everyone. So if you have certain health condition or certain health challenges or issues, consult your doctor first. Don't just do this, you know. Basically, speak to your medical advisor first. I'm not saying, I'm just bringing awareness right here. Don't be, a lot of people, you know, don't be a child and just basically take it and just start doing it while you know your body is not ready for it, or you have certain health conditions. But again, I think I'm gonna close in right now. Let's see.
What? Toodaloo, motherfucker.
Hey, all right, Richard, Deb, I don't know if you're still here. Leo, I'll see you guys in the next one.